Okay, today I'm doing a little hometown vlog of a place that I definitely spent a lot of time at in the mid-90s. And this was our Kroger store. And I worked here for a couple of years. And it was pretty darn special to me. And I was trying to think of a way I could do this vlog and make it, you know, kind of special. I said, you know, I think I'll bring a special guest along. And I'm going to bring in my friend. If you've ever been to Hendersonville Kroger, you know him because he's a local celebrity. And he's a great guy. He's been a friend of mine for 27, 28 years now or something like that. So I'm going to give it to my friend, Mr. Brandon Griffin G-Money.
Howdy, how y'all doing? This used to be the Kroger store back in the 90s. And then we moved across the street. And this was the entrance right here.
He's right. This was the old driveway. It was right here. It connected right where we are standing.
Yes, it was.
The gas station wasn't here.
No.
And the road went right straight to the old door.
Straight.
Right where you're looking. This was the road. And then they moved the road a couple of years before they closed, right? They moved the road down
there. Then they put in
what, about 100 feet, 150 feet, maybe something like that. And then put in the Kroger gas station. But
a lot of great stories. They think they remodeled it about 3 times since I was there.
Yeah.
Went to Wendy's a lot to eat lunch.
Wendy's was a famous lunch spot. So was Subway.
That's my screen.
Yeah, I was fixing to ask, how many times did you have lunch at Subway when you worked here?
Oh, probably a lot.
Yeah. My girlfriend always asks me now, why do you never want to eat at Subway? It's like, I got enough of Subway in the 90s.
We Subwayed out.
I ate Subway so much in the 90s, I was Jared.
Right. Yeah,
well, let's walk around and show people Kroger.
All right.
Okay, now Brandon and I have walked down from up there. Like I said, the old road was right kind of through here and curved, but right here where me and Brandon are, this was the original doors to the building.
The entrance. There's the pads.
Yeah, these were the pressure plates. When you would step right here, that would automatically open the doors. And I remember the doors had a little toggle switch at the top. And every once in a while, you would find a smart aleck that would come in here and would just switch it off so the doors would shut and they wouldn't open for people. And then somebody at the desk would go, hey, can you go see what's up with the doors? Somebody switched them off, we think.
And then you roll backwards right through it?
Yeah, we sure did. There was a double set of doors. Remember, you went through a little cove and then you went through another set. And then I remember going up here, Brandon, when we would do our Christmas decorate. Remember the Santa Claus and the elves we would put up there? And you'd have to get on a ladder and go up there. And it was really cool. I remember going up there a couple times. And I think Brandon has a special memory about our little cart door down here.
Yes, we have a cart door down here. About right here.
We were thinking maybe a little, yeah, I guess. You're probably right. You're probably right in here somewhere.
Yeah. Right here.
And it was only a half door. I mean, it was only like, what, this tall?
Yeah, half door. It was a half door.
And
they used to, you know, we swing carts in there and maybe people.
Yeah.
So much different. This is so much different what I remember back in the 90s.
Yeah. As you see now, it's a trampoline park. We've been inside there, but there's people and families jumping around, so I don't think I'm going to go inside there today, but it's pretty neat. This here was our break area. I remember we had a table for the people that come out and smoke cigarettes. That was all right here. You could go right there to Pizza Hut. Get you a pizza on lunch break, or Subway, Baskin Robbins.
Yep, back in the 90s, it was crazy.
That's right, it sure was.
I'm in the carts were right here.
Yeah, the carts would always line up right in here. And also our time clock, when you'd go through the little double doors we were just telling you about. I'm thinking the double doors were maybe a little more like right in here, maybe. But
yeah, it was right here.
Yeah, because you would go right in, the customer service desk was here, and that was where our time sheet was, where we would clock in and out for the day.
And then they moved it down, and then...
Yeah. And then I was gone by then, but G was still here when all the changes took place and y'all remodeled.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been here since 2016. And then we moved up to across the street.
Yeah. And then we were just talking, our old video department was right over here.
Yes.
And G-Money here is going to help me show you something special about the video department.
This was a video.
This is a video cassette tape.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know what these are nowadays.
This is back in the 90s. You open them up, and that's it.
Yep. You would take out this cassette and you would put it in a machine to play it. See, this one's completely rewound when that side was empty. And this is a film called Phantasm. It was a sci-fi horror film that came out in the late 70s that me and my little brother were absolutely huge fans of. And we would come here and rent this movie. It was, what, $2 or something? Rent it and take it home.
Free.
And you kids think that's nuts nowadays because you have Netflix and all these ways to stream, Amazon, all these ways to get movies right to your house. But back in the day, we didn't have that. The only way you could see this was to come and rent it.
Yeah.
And in the late 90s, they finally released it to where you could go to Walmart or Best Buy or Suncoast Video, so go to a store and buy it, which I did.
Yeah.
And in the late 90s, when Kroger phased out their video department, they were just selling off all their old stock. So I said, oh man, if that Phantasm's in there, I'm going to buy that and keep it, just because my brother and I, we must have rented this thing easily 10 times in the 90s. So this came home with me just for sentimental reasons, you know, so I kind of kept it for that.
Yeah.
And also one more thing I would like to add about my brother. He's no longer with us. He passed away in the mid-90s. And when he passed away, I worked here, and the staff and the crew here were so great. I remember when we were at the funeral home doing the visitation, a Kroger van shows up with just hundreds of dollars worth of deli trays and food and desserts to make sure that all my family and guests that we were taking care of over at the services. That was something Kroger did that I've always appreciated. So Kroger corporate and all the higher ups, if y'all are watching this, thank you. It was much loved and much appreciated. Yes. They do good things every once in a while like that, don't they, Brandon?
Yeah, they do. Once in a while.
Once in a while. Let's walk around and look at some more things.
Then we shut down this store. We moved across the street, and this is now a maintenance center.
That's right, it is, isn't it, Kroger?
Yeah, Kroger Maintenance.
Facility Engineering. Yes, it sure is.
It looks totally different than I'm used to now, remember?
Yeah.
And this used to be, down at the end, used to be the pharmacy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did we have a photo lab?
I think, I don't recall, really. I remember you used to could drop film here and they would get it done. There's the Wendy's we would spend a lot of lunchtime at.
Yeah,
Drive-through for the pharmacy. This was definitely after my era here. This was definitely after my time. But I do remember sitting in this parking lot and throwing a football back and forth with a bunch of my friends.
Oh, yeah.
And getting some knees skinned up, made a few falls on this hard pavement.
Yeah, we didn't cry.
We didn't do the smartest things when we were teenagers, you know. Okay, now Brandon and I are on the back side by the loading dock doors.
Yes.
And there's where we'd throw the trash away that would go down into that compactor there.
Yeah.
But I got a cool story about this. Something you could do in the 90s you can't nowadays. But I knew an employee, and you know him too. We'll leave him nameless. But
yes,
he was not 21, but he would come out right before he got off work and do the roll-up doors and would put some beer outside, a case or two of beer. And I remember it was back when they made that Red Dog beer. You remember Red Dog? He would set a couple 12-packs outside the door. Then he would close the door. Then he'd go clock out, get off. Then he would drive around his car and grab the beer and go party. That's, I mean, not that I'm encouraging that kind of behavior, but that happened there. And also nowadays with cameras, you cannot get away with that nowadays.
Can't do that.
But in the mid-90s, before cameras was around, we had some friends do some pretty shady stuff back here. And another cool thing about being back here, this is all grown up from my era here. None of these trees were like this, but this is the batting cage, Drakes Creek Activity Center. The batting cages do not work. Oh, look, here's a golf ball. Look at that. There's a batting cages. They're not operative anymore, but in the mid-90s they were. And I would come out here on many a Friday night after I got off work, and I would come out here and go bat some baseballs around. Also, you could just cut right through the woods right there, and that was our movie theater. So I remember a lot in the mid-90s. Remember The Crow? I remember that film, going to see that on a Friday night, and then come to the batting cages, and then Go batting. This Drakes Creek Activity Center, I believe the golf course, the little mini golf course, is open, but the batting cages sadly are in great decline. I don't think they've worked in years. I haven't batted up here that I know of in easily 10 or 12 years probably.
At least. Maybe
even more than that. Look, the net's falling apart. Yeah, a lot of great memories back here. Back in the 90s. Back around on the side of the building, and right over there is Drakes Creek Park. I had vlogged over there before, and that's kind of what gave me the idea that I needed to come over here and do this building. But I remember one 4th of July, somewhere there in the mid-90s, when it was almost fireworks time. They do the fireworks from right there in Drakes Creek Park. But everybody was like, come on up on the roof and watch the fireworks. So we went in the back and went up this staircase I'd never been up before, and there was a ladder. Went up this ladder all the way to the top of the building, and we got to watch the fireworks from up there. I think that was 95, maybe, if my memory serves me correctly. Did you ever go on the roof of the building, Brandon?
Once.
You did?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I went up. That was the only time I ever went up there. Was that one 4th of July. And you know, and in closing, Brandon and I were just talking about the amount of famous people that used to shop at our little store here in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I remember Johnny Cash several occasions carrying out his groceries.
Yes,
Brandon knew him.
Out. Lori Morgan came in here a lot.
Sammy
Kershaw.
Yeah,
Oak Ridge Boys.
All 4 of the Oak Ridge Boys I would see in here all the time. I remember seeing Billy Walker. Randall Opry perform. I remember seeing him come in here one time.
Conway Twitty sometimes.
Conway Twitty. He was before my era though, but yeah, I do remember Conway Twitty. I remember right there was one time was a very elderly gentleman that was handicapped and in a wheelchair, and his daughter was helping him get out of his car right there. Chris Fisher and I were grabbing carts off the lot, and we were laughing about something. I don't remember what, but Chris Fisher's a funny guy. If you're hanging out with him, you're going to laugh a lot. He's a funny guy. He should have been a comedian. But we got called into the office after that, and they said, we understand y'all were laughing at a handicapped man getting out of his car, and my feelings were very hurt by that.
Yes.
That was not the case at all, but apparently his daughter seemed to think we were laughing at him, but no, we were a little bit more respectful to people than that. But I told her, I said, but I'm not denying I wasn't laughing, because Chris Fisher probably had me laughing about something.
Oh, yeah.
But and I remember our friends Gary Allen, they used to make their bus call right here. I remember seeing Gary and his bus right here picking up.
Oh yeah.
You know, all those guys are friends of mine. So yeah. Brandon, is there anything you'd like to add or any memories you'd like to share before we call it a day?
Not really. We just call it a day, and thank y'all for watching. And just good old times at the
519.
At the 519 Kroger Store.
519. This is it.
This is it. Signing off.
All right, we're out of here. Clocking out for the day. Right, G-Man?
That's right.
We're going home.